We needed it more than you. Kyle snorted across the room, like he hadn't just drained $120,000 from my account. I'm Rebecca Mitchell. I'm 34, and I built my boutique from nothing. That money, it was my future, my dream, my everything, and my own brother-in-law stole it. He didn't even flinch, just smirked. But he forgot one thing. I may be family, but I don't play nice. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Then you won't mind what's coming next." 2 hours later, the cops kicked down the door. Have you ever been betrayed by your own blood? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you believe karma runs in the family. Growing up in Portland, I was the responsible daughter. My parents ran a modest hardware store, and while my younger sister, Allison, spent her teens chasing parties and popularity, I saved every dollar from my summer jobs after college. I spent 3 years grinding at a corporate retail chain before finally launching Mitchell Designs, my own boutique focused on sustainable, locally made clothing. I quit my stable job with just $5,000 in savings and a heart full of ambition. The first 2 years nearly broke me 18-hour days ramen dinners, reinvesting every penny. I lived modestly so my business could survive. Then tragedy hit. A drunk driver ran a red light and killed both of our parents. The grief cracked me open. I buried myself in work. Allison dropped out of college, floundered through dead-end jobs. When the estate settled, we each got $75,000. I invested mine in my store. Allison. She met Kyle at a casino and married him 6 months later. I hated him from day one, a smooth talker with slick back hair, a too flashy watch, and a condescending tone. Your sister's shop is cute, he'd sneered at their wedding. But real money's in investments. Kyle dominated every room. And Allison, she changed, grew quieter, meek, always checking his reaction before she spoke. She stopped calling. When I did see her, she smiled with her mouth but never her eyes. Then came the reunion. The lake house had been in our family for generations. I'd just secured a second location for my store, and the $120,000 in my account was earmarked for expansion. 5 years of blood, sweat, and sacrifice about to bloom. I didn't know the people I called family were already plotting how to take it all. I arrived at the lake house on Friday afternoon, heart light with hope. Business was booming. My vendor loan had just cleared. The second boutique was finally real. Cousin Emma met me at the dock, smiling, but her voice dropped. Allison and Kyle got here earlier. Just be ready. Through the screen door, I heard Kyle's voice before I saw him, loud, boasting something about a real estate flip that would double anyone's money. Allison greeted me with a quick hug, calling me Becca like old times, but her eyes darted nervously to Kyle. The entrepreneur arrives. He smirked, raising a whiskey glass. Still selling enough dresses to keep the lights on. I smiled tightly. Actually, we're expanding. Just signed the lease downtown. In this economy. He scoffed. Later that night, I went to my room to check some emails. I noticed it instantly. My laptop was moved. The cord plugged into a different port, just slightly off. I froze. I opened it, scanned the browser, but then came the alert. New login attempt failed from an unrecognized device. My gut clenched. Someone had tried to access my account within the past hour while I was helping prep dinner. I changed every password, enabled two-factor authentication, and locked my devices away. But the pit in my stomach stayed. The next morning, I woke up to chaos. Claire, my business partner, called in a panic. Rebecca, the vendor, payment bounced? It says insufficient funds. I ran to my banking app, my fingers shaking. Checking. $0. Savings. $0. Business account. 0. Gone. All of it. $120,000 vanished, transferred overnight to an unknown account. It wasn't a glitch. It wasn't a hack. It was someone inside this house. Someone who knew exactly what they were doing. And my sister's husband was sitting in the kitchen, sipping coffee like nothing had happened. My face must have been ghost white when I walked into the kitchen. Conversation stopped mid. My money's gone, I said, voice hollow. All of it. Uncle Robert stood. What do you mean? Gone? I held up my phone. Over $120,000 drained overnight. Transfers to an account I don't recognize. Gasps. Murmurs. Emma rushed to my side. Only 2 people stayed silent. Allison, staring into her coffee, and Kyle, arms crossed, face unreadable. Have you called the bank? Emma whispered. I did, right there on speaker. The rep's voice was calm, clinical. Yes, Ms. Michu. Several transfers occurred starting at 11:42 p.m., ending at 4:15 a.m. from a recognized device in your location. Your password and security questions were entered correctly. That hit like a punch. This wasn't just fraud, it was betrayal intimate. Premeditated betrayal. Someone had used my laptop, my network, my access, my eyes locked on Kyle. You were near my laptop yesterday. Were you in my room? Allison jumped to his defense immediately. Are you accusing my husband? Kyle smiled slowly. Your sister's paranoid. Maybe your partner mishandled the fund? Then show us your bank statements, I challenged. If you're so financially secure. His smirk twitched just enough. I don't have to prove anything to you. Oh, really? I stepped forward because if you didn't do it, you'd be screaming louder than anyone in this room. Allison's hands were trembling now. She wouldn't look at me. Kyle tightened his grip on her waist like a leash. And then he said it cold, smug. We needed it more than you. The room erupted. Uncle Robert shouted. Emma gasped. Aunt Patricia started crying. I was already reaching for my bag. Then you won't mind what's coming next, I said, my voice like steel. The second I grabbed my phone, Kyle lunged. You're not calling the police, he barked, reaching for my wrist. Uncle Robert stepped between us, firm. Back off, Kyle. Emma pulled me behind her. Allison flinched, face pale, not just scared, but terrified. Allison, I said gently, what's really going on? She opened her mouth, but Kyle cut in. We're done here. Get your bags. We're leaving. You're not going anywhere until I get every cent back, I snapped. Or I swear I'll have you arrested before you hit the driveway. Kyle laughed. Good luck. That money's gone moved, buried. You'll never find it. That's when the loud bang rocked the house. The front door flew open. Police, everyone, stay where you are. Two uniformed officers entered, followed by a plain-clothed woman flashing her badge. "Libet Kamicher?" she asked. I nodded. "I'm Detective Harmon with Portland PD. We received a fraud alert linked to your accounts." Kyle went pale. "This is a misunderstanding." She cut him off. "We have evidence from your bank's cybersecurity team, account transfers, device IDs, and your face, Mr. Henderson." His mouth opened, but no words came. I pulled out my phone. I installed security software. Last year, after a hacking attempt, it takes photos during login attempts, tracks, keystrokes, even records access history. I handed the phone to Harmon. "Here," I said. "Clear images of Kyle using my laptop, timestamps, IP machayas. You'll find everything." Kyle's mask slipped. "You set me up." "No," I said calmly. "I protected myself." "There's a difference." As the officers cuffed him, he shouted at Allison, "You think you're safe? You're nothing without me." She stepped forward, voice shaking but strong. "I was nothing to you. Without you, I can finally be myself again." Detective Harmon looked at me. "With this much evidence, you'll likely recover most of the stolen funds. And more importantly, he won't hurt anyone else." For the first time in days, I let myself exhale. It wasn't over, but I had won the first battle. 1 month later, I stood in the soft morning light of my second booty copen, thriving, safe. Mitchell Designs had survived, not because I was lucky, but because I was ready, because I trusted my gut, and because I refused to let betrayal define me. The bank recovered 97% of the funds, the rest covered by fraud protection. But money was never the biggest victory. It was Allison. She moved in with me, filed for divorce, and re-enrolled in school. The shadows under her eyes have begun to fade. She laughs again. She bakes again. She's healing. She told me something last night as we chopped vegetables like we used to with Mom. "You were brave for protecting what you built, Becca. I want to be brave enough to rebuild myself." And she is. Kyle pleaded guilty to fraud, coercion, and identity theft. He'll be in prison for a long time, but his power ended the day Allison stood up and said, "I'm done being afraid." Last weekend, we returned to the lake house not for a reunion, but a restart. The whole family pitched in to repaint, repair, and reclaim the space that almost broke us. And we made new rules. Real family protects, not manipulates. If you've ever had to cut out toxic family to protect what you love, I see you. Drop a comment if you've ever said enough, and if you're still gathering the courage, borrow some of mine. Because blood doesn't entitle anyone to break you